This is Baseline, a podcast about baseball by people who know nothing about baseball. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Andrew, and we know nothing about baseball.
But it is a week gone from opening day, I guess. A week and a half. Ooh, what?
It is.
4 days,
thereabouts.
maybe?
Mm-hmm.
It's been about 4 days since opening day, and I've watched 3 of the games, I think, between the actual Giants, the real life meat flesh Giants against the San Diego Padres. And it's been an okay series so far. This is real life baseball, though. Like this is baseball that counts. And holy smokes, it's way different.
It is very different. Yeah. We recorded a Twitch stream last week for opening day, but before we did that, I was watching the Reds opening day game, and as we were preparing for the stream, so you heard just how agonizing it was for me, because the last out of the last inning, I think they threw something like 14 pitches, and he must have fouled the ball approximately 1 bazillion times before they finally struck him out and won.
That's the calculation, at least here on the official score sheet. Yeah,
you will find that in the box score. Yes, 1 bazillion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yeah, as for me, the Reds, they won their opening day game. The next game got postponed due to bad weather, and then yesterday they lost. So and they're currently playing right now. So That's how it is. They beat the Pirates one game. They lost badly to the Pirates the next game. Consistency isn't really a strong point of the Reds.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Giants kind of feel the same way, at least in their debut here, the opening series against the Padres. They lost their first and did not get a run on the board until third baseman Evan Longoria hit a home run in like the 7th inning of Game 2. And that's the kind of year that I think it's going to be for the Giants. It's going to be one of those where they get long droughts of no scoring, nothing really good happening. And then for some reason, on Sunday, they just kind of open up, or, on Saturday night, they just sort of open up. The Sunday game was sort of a disappointment. They were playing real well. Samardzija was pitching really well, and going into the late innings, classic Giants, their bullpen just does not do well, and they ended up scoring 2 more runs there towards the end of the game, and that was it for them. So it's sort of like, do you get the idea so far that, 1, baseball that counts is very different, and 2, does the weight of winning these games feel real so far? I don't know how the commentators are talking about it, but are they kind of like, well, here we are in the real thing, they're going to lose a few, and that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles so far?
Yeah, I would say yes and yes. Yes, the real games feel very different because, like, I actually care and they're actually playing. Like, I can't rationalize and be like, oh, they're just playing poorly because it's spring training. Now, if they're playing poorly, they're legitimately playing poorly, which is distressing. But also, yeah, it counts, and the weight of that is stressful. But also, yeah, I think the commentators, I don't know, they weren't really trying. I don't think they really tried to set up the season in any particular way. It was just, it's opening day, so here we are on opening day. And then they interviewed Rob Manfred for an inning, which was something.
Wow, that feels like it should have sort of been turned off, I guess, come to the real season, but I don't know. Maybe not.
They were like, join us in the second inning. We'll be joined by Rob Manfred. And they asked him all sorts of questions that I found largely uninteresting. And I don't know. It got too much into the business side of baseball in a way that made me go,
interesting. Was there any point in particular?
Or what was it? They were, like revenues are strong and increasing or whatever. And I'm like, that's money that we give to you. Like you're bragging,
Sure.
You're bragging that we're paying you more money. That doesn't make me feel nice.
when you see an article written like, hey, ticket prices this year up $3 for every ticket. Yeah, no wonder you're making it back.
Revenues are up.
And feeling good about that. Yeah, no kidding.
Hey guys, revenues are up. It's great. Everything's great.
Hey,
yeah, no.
Come on. You're right though, but because like the amount of business talk that happens during a regular baseball broadcast is usually now, at least when the season has started, it's not about like, how are we prepping for the season? What kind of moves have you made? You know, and who are you keeping? Who's going back to the minors? Now it's more about like, come get your Buster Posey bobblehead on Tuesday type promotions.
We'd like to once again remind you about our theme ticket days coming up this season. Star Wars Day coming up. Yeah, and it's like,
well, or just like the ticket prices, or you know, get your season tickets now. It's still time. There's still time for you to get your ticket packages and like all that kind of stuff. That's sort of all I really expect to hear.
Cincinnati Reds are pleased to offer very attractive group packages for your next group outing.
I don't want to hear, like, especially with the Giants right now. The Giants are in sort of hot water with their ownership group.
Yeah, they're in a little bit of turmoil.
Right. And really, I mean, MLB has suspended Giants CEO for the moment. I don't know what that's going to turn into, but to me, it sounds definitely like the business side of baseball is something that the folks on the radio call.
Well, welcome to mid-90s Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, I mean, especially in San Francisco, right? Like, my expectation is that they make a stand on this and they absolutely come out ahead of it, and they haven't. And so I'm pretty bummed about it, honestly.
Yeah, right.
I want them to actually do something.
They're trying to kill it with silence, it seems. Like, just do not acknowledge.
Well, and the Giants aren't going to be able to do that. Like, they can't. They would have had there been some sort of signing of a major player, but that's agreed. That's not going to work here. And so that's all to say, like, during the radio broadcasts and during the television broadcasts, that they're going to be pretty much on all baseball. Like, it's going to be baseball all the time. It's going to be about pitch by pitch. It's going to be talking about strategy. And I think for me, during these games, watching the first series in San Diego, that was the thing that caught me off guard the most, is that, like, during spring training, you're not talking about strategy necessarily. You're talking about moves. You're talking about how good someone looks so far, you know, how their spring is gone. But otherwise, you know, it's not about what are you actually going to do in a real life situation. Now they're talking pitch by pitch. They're saying, wow, this breaking ball looks good. They've really set them up for fastball up. Like, you're getting that level now of baseball commentary, at least in the games I'm watching. And if you are not a seasoned fan, if you don't know the rules of the game, now is where I'm starting to feel like, wow, this is super unapproachable. Like, you can watch and see what happens.
It's very, there's a phrase for this: inside baseball. It's very inside baseball.
It is very much inside baseball, and especially the two folks that I listened to during the television broadcast, they are both ex-baseballers. They are two folks who, one guy was a pitcher, one guy was a second baseman, and
former baseballman.
They are absolutely speaking the language of baseball players. They're not necessarily speaking the language of someone who would be watching at home.
Yeah, it's a little bit like when they interview NASCAR drivers. You know, what were you thinking? Come around that final turn. Well, you know, I'm really thinking that blah, blah, and they get all like highly technical, and you're like, I don't know what they're talking about. Is that something with their car?
I just kind of went fast. Yeah?
Right.
Okay, cool.
What I did is I turned left, and then I just kept turning left.
Seemed to work out pretty well, I think.
On most tracks.
So all of that is to say, we did not take that tact when we did our opening day stream on Twitch, which you can see by going to twitch.tv/GSFM. There's a video on demand. I tried to export this to YouTube. I think it's too big.
Oh, yeah, I really
do think it's too big.
Yeah. It was fun. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun too. This was sort of like we had sort of couched this conversation before in the previous episode because it had not happened yet. And so I think both of us were very nervous. Calling a full baseball game was for sure like on my tippy top list, like my bucket list was for sure call a baseball game. This is as close as I'm probably going to get.
But also really daunting.
Yes. Yeah. It was kind of daunting for me. And we had prepped some graphics. You had prepped some music. There was a lot of work, I'd say, put into this beyond just strictly thinking about it.
I planned some bits. I think I used all of them.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of them were funny. They seem funny to me. So if they don't seem funny to you, that's your problem.
That's right. You can be the judge, actually. If you'd like to, you can go over to patreon.com/goodstuff and sign up there. I exported our whole video as a radio call, and I added a couple of radio effects in there. And,
oh, nice.
Put that into the feed. So it's going to sound kind of like an AM radio. Now, see, I didn't add that. I should definitely have added sort of like, let's pause for 10 seconds for station identification.
The Reds are on the radio. This is the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network. Yeah, they do. What you need to do is you need to have 1 minute of commercials. Then you need to have the announcer come back and say, and we pause for station identification, and then go back to another minute of commercial.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad that we didn't go like full blown radio commentary / full blown TV commercials, because it was so much work just to set this up and felt like we were prepared every time that we came back from quote unquote commercial break. I'm happy to talk more about this in sort of the after show, because I think it was there were some interesting parts about setting this up, and maybe I should talk to Chris about this on Show Me Your Mic, but that sounds cross promotion.
That sounds like a good subject for that show.
Speaking of good subjects, we also put out on Twitter a call for votes, I guess, for our new Letterboxd score. Yes, over on Twitter. What was the outcome of that?
The people have spoken, and they have soundly said that we should watch The Sandlot first.
It is another baseball movie with James Earl Jones as well. The other being obviously Star Wars, but
famous baseball movie actor James Earl Jones.
Yep. I'm very, very excited to watch this.
I just thought it was Major League garnered none of the votes. Field of Dreams came second. So
another James Earl Jones joint.
Yeah. What the people want, I think decisively, the people have voted for James Earl Jones.
Yes. Well, we'll continue through that.
So I'm happy to introduce that this is a James Earl Jones podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Primarily about James Earl Jones from now on.
Mostly about Click, the wonderful movie Click.
The Adam Sandler movie?
Yes, he was in that. What was he? I've never seen.
Oh God! Are you pulling my leg? I don't remember him being in that movie at all. Click.
Star Wars. Listen to this. Star Wars, Empire of Dreams, the story of the Star Wars trilogy. Is that that's a crossover, right?
Sounds like it. James Earl Jones was the narrator, uncredited. That seems rude.
Wow. An uncredited narrator? Are you kidding?
Of Click, yes.
What?
That alone is reason to dislike Adam Sandler. I mean, come on.
Maybe it was a voice actor posing as James Earl Jones?
Could be.
I'm going to IMDb. We need to dig deeper into this. Maybe it will actually become a James Earl Jones podcast. Click. 2006 Click. Oh boy.
Anyway, so we'll be watching The Sandlot at some point.
And
I commit to that.
Yeah, I think what we'll probably do is also just make that available through the patron feed, patreon.com/goodstuff. We will, I guess, have to both rent it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know logistically how we're going to make this work, but it's like $4 to watch this.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah.
Well, some things to rent are like $10, and it's like $10.
Yeah.
Like, what is this, Blockbuster? Get out of here.
Even Blockbuster, wasn't that like $3.50?
Yeah, right.
Even in the DVD days,
yeah,
you get it for a day.
Right.
Can you request a Redbox have The Sandlot and then go pick it up?
Ooh, I don't know. How does that work?
Do you have a disc playing machine on you?
I do. I have a PlayStation 4. So
okay. So it would play the
fourth of the PlayStations. Yes, it would play the the Blu-ray remastered version of The Sandlot, if such a thing even exists. No, I'm almost certain it does not.
There are 3 Sandlots. There's Sandlot 2, which is seems to be very close to the original, and then Sandlot 3 is called The Sandlot Heading Home, which is okay. Fine.
Sure.
But also seems like they got jerseys, they have a whole look on them. So it's, well, we'll watch the first one. I can commit to that. Beyond that though,
I feel that I'm most certainly going to rent this, because to purchase it is $15.
Yeah, no, that's nope.
The Sandlot 2 came out in 2005. What? Who thought that was a good idea? I have to assume it was a direct-to-video thing. Is that the case?
It should have been, like a Disney Channel.
It is a direct-to-DVD sequel. Yes.
There you go.
So
10 years ago, a quirky group of kids. Yeah, okay. At least they're temporally accurate here.
The Sandlot 2 has received negative reviews from critics.
Who'd have thought? That also is a James Earl Jones movie. So
it was
there
directed by
folks.
the same guy who directed the original The Sandlot.
Wow.
But that I'm looking at the films he's directed, and that is basically the only one that is good. The rest of these are we got Ace Ventura Jr., Pet Detective, we got Beethoven's Third and Beethoven's Fourth. And we've got National Lampoon's Barely Legal, which, not great. They're kind of, pork chop movies.
Yes. Direct to DVD, the Good Stuff podcast coming at you soon.
Yeah.
Very soon.
It's going to be much poorer quality than this. I'm gonna get out like a USB computer mic from 2001 and just plug it in.
Maybe yours will probably pick me up from here, too.
Right? Exactly.
We'll do that whole thing. Yep. Hey, speaking of enjoying a movie, maybe, and grabbing some crunchy snacks, baseball snacks, I think, are
a baseball food.
It's a highlight, really, of my ballpark going experience. I would say also maybe from my sofa going experience here in at least the first 4 games of the season. I consumed quite a number of different snacks. We got chips and salsa. We got some like Pirates Booty type poofy snacks from Trader Joe's. The Pirates Booty. It's like it's sort of poofy, like a corn poof. Like a
how have Trader Joe's white cheddar corn puffs?
Yes, yeah, precisely.
Okay. I must be blind to those every time I walk through Trader Joe's, because I feel like I've never seen those.
The bag is huge. It is like a small child. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I've definitely walked past it about a bajillion times. But, yeah, interesting.
I would also recommend, let's see, what else did we get from Trader Joe's? We got
good
maybe
stuff there.
The dried fruit. The dried fruit is good.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Trader Joe's.
They have a really good beer selection too. If you're looking to just kind of complete the whole baseball thing, you can grab some beer, grab some peanuts. They likely have peanuts. I'm
sure they
probably
do.
some artisanal peanuts somewhere, dried,
right, exactly.
roasted,
with some gold
snacks.
leaf.
Yeah.
Trader Joe's has the good. They have the good. Yeah, that's Whole Foods. I'm sorry. Trader Joe's has the good snacks.
Goodsnacks.fm.
They have the good snacks. Good. You have to buy that now.
Okay, hover.com.
It is my solemn duty. It brings me no joy.
The .fms are so expensive, too.
They are.
Gosh.
You're right. Well, that's why we're not baseline.fm. We're baseline.show.
Yeah, all right. Goodsnacks.show.
But yes, so you were segueing to something.
I was trying. It was sort of long and drawn out, but baseball snacks. I had some sitting and watching the opening series, and
ballpark food, stadium food.
We're going to talk about
stadium foods. Kyle,
I've been waiting for this.
I'm sure you have.
I sent you a list. The wonderful website eater.com, which has like local websites for various big metro areas. They ran a piece entitled Where to Eat at Comerica Park, home of the Detroit Tigers, in which they summarize every single new menu option available this season. And there's some good stuff in here. Among them, brand new Beyond Burgers, which I actually had yesterday. I had a Beyond Burger for the first time. That's one of those faux meat patties, one of those like plant-based meat substitute things. I believe you had one too.
I did. So we were talking about this in the Good Stuff Discord, which you can also, I promise that these episodes won't be just plugs for patreon.com/goodstuff.
We're going to keep plugging Patreon until you people.
That's right. Listen,
the advertisements will continue until contributions improve.
That's right. Days since contributed to Patreon. I'm ripping that calendar off right now. It's still at 0. Actually, I've never ripped anything off. It's been 0. Wait, that'd be the opposite. It doesn't matter. The point is, I had a Beyond Meat patty as well at Carl's, of all places, Carl's Jr., which
Carl's
I think probably
Jr.
Hardee's where you are.
It is. Well, it used to be. We just don't have them anymore.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
When I was a kid, we had Hardee's up until I want to say like 96, and then most of them closed. My dad fondly remembers Hardee's. But yeah, Hardee's / Carl's Jr.
Yeah, well, the double Western bacon cheese was always sort of like my go-to, and it always felt, kind of like a getaway. It's like the nicer version of McDonald's in a lot of ways. But actually, a quick aside, I actually met the guy who designed the Carl's Jr. star, the logo, like the very the
happy star
recognizable
thing.
star. Yeah, he's sort of like, that's the only thing that people seem to remember from everything that I've designed in my career. It's like, okay, well,
and you're like, well,
sorry.
Sometimes that's how it works out.
I
Not
love
to say that you didn't do great work, but
yeah, it's good. It's really good. But I had one as well. It was pretty good. We were mentioning it in the chat, in the food chat. Kind of overly smoky a little bit. They're trying to recreate the sensation of meat, and
as close as possible to like ground beef as they can get.
Well, and when you're talking about sort of like an overly smoked, flame grilled kind of flavor, that tends to lean more into the Burger King territory for me. And so like this had a very Burger King flavor. Yeah. It's just kind of...
It's charbroiled plants.
Yes, a little bit. Flame grilled Whopper.
Beyond Whopper.
But well, actually, the Whopper now is going to be apparently an Impossible Burger, and this is one of the first that Impossible is signed on. So we're getting the battle of the meats here.
And I had said too that I am very interested in trying the Impossible Burger as well. I would like to sample all of the meatless meats. I welcome our meatless future, personally.
I'm in it too. As long as, I mean, I feel like for a long time they've been able to get the hot dog consistency right, because I don't care whether that's animal or not. Like, it's gonna sort of be like a big long bologna.
I feel like hot dog is the minimum viable meat product.
Yep. I'm in it. But that's good to hear that at least this is going to be sort of one of the things available. They say Big Cat Court near Gate A in Corktown.
In Corktown, yes.
Well,
so that is one of the items. You have. Last year, it says there was such a thing as the dessert egg roll. However, now there is the Coney Dog egg roll, which is an egg roll stuffed with hot dogs, chili, mustard, and onions.
Yep.
So that's some kind of fusion cuisine. You can also...
I'm into that mainly because, like, the idea of trying to dip a whole corn dog or get a whole Coney Dog thing in your face is sort of hard, right? Like, trying to just... aim all
Conies
those
are a
toppings.
bit messy. They're not really good street food.
No, you'd need a bucket. Like they always come with an accompanying bucket with it.
You can also, if you decide that the Beyond Burger is not sufficiently fancy, you can get a French onion burger. That's also available at your Big Cat Court near Gate A, Corktown. There is the Al Pastor dog, which is a hot dog covered in pulled pork, pineapple relish, sriracha aioli, and cotija cheese. Why exactly it's called an Al Pastor dog but lacks actual flavorful spit-grilled Al Pastor isn't clear, says Eater. And frankly, I would like to know the answer to that question as well. It's not an Al Pastor dog if it doesn't have Al Pastor on it, Tigers. I'm calling you out. Just call it a pulled pork dog. Don't deceive me. I will know that it's not real Al Pastor.
Well, if it's pulled pork, it depends on how that pulled pork is flavored. If they're going to add sort of like Al Pastor seasoning to give it sort of that more barbecue-y flavor rather than the like sweet Carolina style pulled pork. That's what I'm hoping it's not. But who knows here, especially if it's got pineapple relish and stuff. The heat should be coming from the meat, not the sriracha aioli.
Right,
on, man.
And talking about putting things on things and calling them something different, there is the banh mi, which is not, in fact, a banh mi. It says the folks at Delaware North Sports Service took a hot dog bun and filled it with a thick slab of bacon, shredded lettuce and cabbage called Asian slaw, and a drizzling of sriracha aioli. That's not a banh mi. I don't know. Like, I don't know. They can't just have these things. They have to make a weird version of these things. They can't just have the thing.
They're definitely appealing to a certain kind of person here, right?
Yeah,
like
this is fusion cuisine, but not in the way that we think of fusion cuisine.
I would be fine if they called it, like if they did call it fusion cuisine or
if they call it
something
like
where it's
banh mi hot dog or something. I don't know. Calling it a banh mi seems
it does. It's a little misrepresentative of an entire culture's sort of like French and Vietnamese heritage / cultural cuisine. I just it's appropriative in like the worst kind of ways. So I'm not a fan. I'm guessing the gyro isn't much better.
It is in fact your standard gyro meat, diced tomatoes, tzatziki, and red onions.
Well,
pretty standard in a pita wrap, not in a hot dog bun. That one apparently, that's what it says. That one apparently, they're able to make that one genuine. So go figure. Also falafel.
And it's probably because they get called out, right, by somebody.
Yeah.
At the field.
and
it's unfortunate that they feel like we can get away with calling this a banh mi. Like,
right?
No, you can't. I really hope that someone holds them to that.
Just outside of Detroit in Dearborn is a thriving community of like Arab restaurants, Middle Eastern places that have lots of shawarma and so on. So like it would be silly for them to try and pass off something that's a hero as not a hero. Everyone would know. It's like, this is not a pita, you know, this is something else entirely.
Sure.
You put kebab meat in a hot dog bun. Yeah, no, that
Actually,
doesn't work.
To be, as long as they didn't call it a gyro, I would not mind. I would take that all day.
Well, and you can also
hot
get
dog we just sort of sliced maybe or something.
Mm-hmm. You can also get like a falafel hero. Same thing, but with falafel. You can also just get topped falafel, no pita, tomatoes, tzatziki, red onions, black olives, and cucumbers.
Now, see, here's the movement that I think I'm seeing with all this quote unquote ballpark food. This is just food.
It is.
That I guess you're eating at a ballpark, like
right. Therefore, it is ballpark food.
I hate to do this because I feel like the entirety of Morning Show was predicated on this, but this is not ballpark food. Like this, it's not a restaurant. You're not having, this is not like live theater entertainment at a restaurant, but it's baseball.
Yeah.
This is, people are jamming, like they just, I don't know, like they found a food that is sort of handheld a little bit. If I need a fork, get it out of my baseball. If I need like a bunch of napkins, get it out of my baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the idea, right? Like you gotta, yeah. I don't need a gourmet meal. I don't have room for a tray or anything. Like, give me something simple. Basically, that's the requirement.
I'm not
I
trying
have good
to
news, though.
Okay. Tell me.
So we've got Guernsey ice cream in 2 flavors, Blue Moon and Detroit Grand Slam. Ice cream, I feel like that's a typical one, especially on those hot days. Very good. Chicken wings.
Yes.
These ones are smoked and marinated in a spicy beer sauce with celery and a choice of barbecue or ranch on the side. Then I'm going to quote directly here. Continuing this year's bizarre French onion theme, baseball fans can look out for fries topped with Swiss cheese, caramelized onions, and zip sauce. Those are French onion fries. So, I mean, that sounds good. Doesn't require a fork.
Oh, it would. It absolutely. I mean,
I guess that's true.
Your,
it's perilously close to being like a chili cheese fries kind of thing.
Yeah, or like animal style fries at an In-N-Out or something
but
like that.
Also, why don't they just have poutine?
Well,
that would be much better.
Curds would be great here. Well,
yeah.
the thing is with like trying to eat something with your hands and then I don't know, like go and grab your beer or like do literally anything else with your hands. I don't want to have to leave my seat again to be like, I gotta go wash them now. Blah. Like that's not unless you're gonna give out free nappies with this or something. Like give me something that's not gonna get my mitts all grody.
Mm-hmm. Well, we now
French onion fries are gonna do it,
right? But we now are entering the area of your particular interest. First up, craft beer flights. You can try up to 3 different 7-ounce pours of beer. Michigan craft beer.
I really hope that one, they're either preset as a flight, like it's these 3. That's what you get. Because I don't want to be behind the group of folks who are like, let me look up the ratings of these. And
right, you have 2.5 minutes in between the inning, and they're like, oh, I don't know. Can I try it?
Yeah. Yeah, indecision.
No, so what you do instead is you opt for the boozy ice cream bars. Atwater Brewery's Vanilla Java English Style Porter and Decadent Dark Chocolate Ale are now served in ice cream bar form.
Yes.
Sounds...
This is beer, like, brought up another level. Yeah. Because, like, when you think about, I'm going to spill my beer. Cream. Well, you're going to like be walking down the concourse, spilling at least a few ounces here and there, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're bringing a couple for your pals that you're watching the game with. There's no way to spill the ice cream bar.
That's true. You could drop it, but it seems unlikely that you will because it's,
even then, keep it covered. If it's still covered before you get it to your seat,
right.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, if you had asked like 21-year-old me to describe the best food I can think of, it probably would have been beer that is also ice cream. So
beer on a stick,
right,
is what I need.
Yeah.
I'm curious though, especially about the whole booziness. Like, what is keeping it from just turning into liquid instantly?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's interesting for sure. One wonders how they did that. Next item, chimichanga. It says generally deep fried items are a safe bet at the ballpark, so they tend to agree with you, I think, in terms of because the benefit of deep fried items too is that they're usually pretty sturdy, so they usually don't require any cutlery to enjoy.
Yeah, and they're also they're sort of like encompassed on their own plate. Like the fried bits can sort of be its own vessel by which you can both grab and have it self-sustain by like holding it up. It's not going to be floppy or anything.
Curious what you think about this. It says features barbacoa chicken with Monterey Jack cheese, white cheddar queso, pico de gallo, sour cream, and lettuce. Comes with Spanish rice and black beans. That sounds pretty good to me.
My main problem is that it comes with Spanish rice and black beans. Throw those in the chimichanga. Well, I challenge you.
Yes.
Tiger Den Lounge.
Have you all
near section 131?
Have you all heard of a burrito?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And likely so you've got, because what's in it? Chicken and cheese? That's an enchilada.
Chicken and cheese, right. And some
You
pico.
deep fried an enchilada, my guy. That's all.
See, we need to fly you out here so we can go to a baseball game and you can critique all of the things and give feedback to the poor fast food worker.
Listen, now
you fried an enchilada, my dude, and the guy's gonna be like, "Look, I just work here."
Well, follow my vlog, like and subscribe, because I'm about to bring you the latest from Comerica Park. Because what you're doing right now, Andrew, is you're digging into my actual real life bucket list, and you've checked one off. Now you're ready to check off the second one, and I don't really know how to proceed, because this is real life. Like, do I need a Kickstarter?
I don't know. Is this a GoFundMe situation? How
how do you get me in a ballpark talking about food? Likely on camera, because you wouldn't want to do audio, right? It's just gonna be
that would be you just get crunching.
Yeah. Well, I'd hope so. It should be crunchy.
Well, right. I'd be very ASMR, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a prerequisite, I feel like, for a lot of baseball foods. Give me that crunch.
Right. Next item, Italian sandwich, which is the most generic name on this list, I think. Mortadella, capicola ham, salami, lettuce, tomato, red onion, banana peppers, and Italian dressing on a sesame sub roll. So they took a bunch of Italian meats and made a sub.
I mean, okay. Sandwiches. Mm-hmm. Sandwiches at a ballpark. Do you have a feeling about those? Is that kind of...
Not what I would probably opt for, to be honest. Probably wouldn't get a sandwich at a ballpark. Just doesn't feel like a ballpark tortilla food, right? Like I'm not here at the ballpark to enjoy Subway, Like I'm here to enjoy something perhaps a bit heavier. As it were.
That's You're anything if it has green in it, that's relegated for the field. That's the grass on the field. Go put the green stuff on the field.
Yeah.
What you should have in your maw is just
some sort of fried
golden brown, fried and hot dog.
Ideally, a fried
flavor.
Potato product, which is a topic we've discussed before on previous extra innings. Is fried. Yeah, we'll get to that. Next thing is a Moroccan spiced beef sandwich. Ras el Hanout rub beef is served with toom, pickles, onions, and olives on a roll. It's interesting.
I'm into this.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had like that kind of, seasoned beef like just on a roll. Typically have it with a pita, but that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, well, and what I'm thinking is like this is for folks who know what they're ordering. They're going either for this.
Yeah, you have to know that you like that kind of ahead of time.
100%. And maybe a lot of this, all these new menu items are sort of dictated in a way where they want to be able to provide these things because they've heard that folks want these while they're at the ballpark. That's cool. I would like it if they either said which ones are halal or which ones are kosher. Those seem very baseball centric to me, those terms, but I don't see a lot of that happening here on Eater. So maybe they do talk about it at the ballpark, but I think it would be cool to try something like this. But again, as much as I want to have this, me, Kyle the foodie, I want to try this in my real life, but at a baseball stadium?
Yeah, it's a little bit of an odd place to do some food experimentation. Some quiz I'm going to try this here of all places. Because then if you like it, where are you going to get it again?
Buy another ticket.
Right.
I guess. Well, so here's the thing. Going across the country, I'm not sharing my video with you right now. Maybe I should take a photo at least. But behind me, I have a bunch of baseballs from different stadiums I visited. Likely most of the time when we go to a stadium, it's going to be one somewhat to see the stadium and watch the game. But around the fourth inning, I'm out of my seat and we're eating the food in the ballpark because I'm hungry a lot of times. And by the seventh inning, we're gone. So the idea of out of town folks visiting Comerica Park in Detroit, maybe they're trying to get folks from far away to eat the food there and be like, oh, this is cool. I really enjoyed my time at Comerica Park. And it's not necessarily for the season ticket holders or the everyday, folks who go there. I don't know what their plan is with this, but I know I do find myself at least visiting a ballpark that I've never been to before, looking for oddities like this and one-offs like this. And so maybe that's who they're going for. But I don't know. Sandwiches. What do you think? Baseline_show on Twitter. Sandwiches.
Let us know.
or as my tweet from a couple months ago says, sandwiches. Which you good?
Yeah. Next thing, loaded nacho fries. Fries topped with cheddar, queso, pico de gallo, jalapenos, and cotija cheese. That sounds pretty good, actually. Yeah. Then we have.
I feel like it's missing some sort of beans or something, some sort of binder.
Yeah,
the only binder that we've got here is jalapeno
is the
and maybe the queso.
Yeah. Throw some black beans on there.
Oh, wait a second. Wait. They call them nachos, but it's just French fries with cheese?
Correct.
Okay. I guess the conceit here
that earns a.
Well, you've got it's nacho toppings, I guess,
but on fries,
sorta, but on fries.
Yeah.
The idea of nacho it depends on how much of a nacho purist you are, because if you believe that nachos are individual chips with toppings on them and you go in for each one, or you believe that nachos are the amalgamation of multiple fried chips with a smattering of toppings over the top of all of them together. This is more of the latter. But still, if I see nachos, Kyle expects nachos. Now I'm talking to the third person. I just don't. I think this is going to. You're going to get folks. Listen, I think you're going to get people who are mad about this by calling them nachos. This way? It's going to happen. I know it.
You come into my ballpark, you call these nachos?
Well, you've got to tell me about the next one, because this is probably the one that I've got the most issues with.
Garden salad and grain bowl jars, which is incidentally my vocal warm up.
Garden salad and grain bowl jars.
It says, I'm just going to read this verbatim because it's great. Eating a salad out of a paper boat at the ballpark is sort of awkward, but it somehow makes a lot of sense to serve it in a jar. Stadium visitors can now purchase salads with veggies, cheese, and ranch dressing, and grain bowls with quinoa, lettuce, brown rice, farro, cheese, and veggies at Tigers games. Just shake it with dressing and eat up. So is the jar disposable? That's my question. Like, is it a ball jar that you take home with you? Is that the giveaway? The first 1,000 entries will receive a free ball jar.
It's glass. Drop it and hurt your...
Yeah, that would be... I guess that would be really bad. It's probably not glass.
No, it definitely is not. This is... Okay, so these are going to be plastic... These are going to be like plastic containers with that like pop top where it's like like the top you put on a Frosty or whatever. Like it's going to be
Once
sort of rounded on top. Right. And you put the things in it, I guess, and shape.
Oh, yeah. You mean the little like half dome lid.
The half dome lids. Yeah, there you go.
And you just, you shake it up. You got your quinoa and your farro in there and you shake it up with some, I don't know, balsamic or whatever. I guess. And then you eat it and you feel unfulfilled because you always feel unfulfilled eating a salad.
Yeah, these grain bowls are like
grain bowl.
Unless you have a way to, I could see myself saying like I get one of these grain bowls or a salad, and then I forget to bring a spoon with me because the spoon wasn't attached to the actual
and
jar.
You have to like
because
dump it into your mouth.
It's inconvenient. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now here I am popping the top, and I just get it's going to be awkward. I know it's going to be awkward. Maybe I just fill it with more liquid and try and turn it into a smoothie or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Just go back and be like, can you put this through the blender or something? I don't know.
Can I get a bun? Can I put this in a bun? Like I need a vessel by which to eat this.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't understand ballpark food unless it's on a bun. That's my prerequisite. It must be on a bun.
Yeah, really. It really, really should. Buns should be utensils. Hashtag.
Yep, that's our official stance. After that, also fruit cups, which is, just sliced melon, pineapple, berries, and grapes.
As it says, sure, pick up some sliced melon, pineapple, berries, and grapes at the game. Sure, Go ahead. Do whatever.
And then packaged snacks. If you're in need of a vegan, vegetarian, or gluten-free alternatives, you can purchase Sabra hummus, guacamole snack cups, and Oh Snap Pickling Company snacks. So, whatever. I do want to point out the one of the items that is returning for a third season. Are you ready?
Justin Verlander.
Close.
No, he's gone. He's not back. You're right.
Coney Dog Pizza.
Okay, I've got to look up. Is there a photograph of this?
There is not, but I am going to describe it to you. The chain's Pizza Coney mashup features a Detroit-style square pizza crust with chili for sauce, cheese, mustard, onions, and sliced hot dogs. The combination managed to win over fans in 2017 and is returning this year. And you've located a picture which already has the words "nope" written on it, and I tend to agree. I love chili. I love pizza. Would like those two things to remain separate. That's my hot take.
Your hot dog take.
Please do not unnecessarily combine foods. That's my general opinion. Like, we've gone too far with the fusion.
This could have gone the other way, right? You could have made a pizza-ish, like a Detroit pizza Coney dog, where you take the buns and you get sort of that crispy, crusty cheese on the edges with it, and so you get like a crispy cheese thing going on the outside, because that's really the only difference, right? And then you fill it with a bunch of Coney stuff. I think that would have been a far more elegantly executed dish here. But you know what? Even though this says nope on the image I sent you, I'll take it. I'm in.
All right, more for you. I do want to briefly, as an aside, talking about chili-based foods that are transformed into a thing they shouldn't be. I once had, at Skyline Chili, the Cincinnati chili restaurant from my hometown, they have a menu item called a chilito, which is literally a tortilla with Skyline chili and cheddar cheese in it. It's an interesting, it's not really, so Cincinnati style chili is quite messy. It's not nearly, it's a lot runnier than
more of a tomato
chili
sauce than anything else.
Kind of, yeah. So putting it in a tortilla, like, that's a really unstable vessel for your chili.
It's basically a luge for chili.
Because it's a little bit like a Capri Sun. The moment you bite into it, it just kind of squirts out because you're applying pressure. But yeah, it was interesting. I've only had it once.
It's more like a drain pipe for chili than it is
right. I think what you're meant to do actually
assume.
is sort of bite off the bottom and then just let it drain into your mouth sort of at once.
All right.
You just got
in. I'm absolutely in. Yep, just It's sort of like, have you ever seen people do the like luge thing with a hollowed out marrow bone and alcohol, like through the crevasse of the marrow bone into their mouth?
I don't think so. That sounds fascinating, to say the least.
People do bone marrow whiskey shots. Yeah, I guess anyway. People are mad about it, apparently.
I'm just looking at this article of previous menu items that they had in previous years. One is the Brat Pop, which is a brat patty, battered, fried, and served on a stick.
I would be up for that. I mean, anything on a stick obviously is going to be okay with me. But yeah, if you go to boneluge.com, you'll be able to see
naturally
what this is.
That's
boy, oh boy.
That's something. I'll tell you what, that is certainly a method.
Also, be careful going to boneluge.com.
Yeah. Don't worry, we've pre-vetted it.
Yeah, it's good. Trust me, it's good.
Another thing, they previously had the fried bologna sandwich. Fried bologna, grilled banana peppers, and onions.
Yep. I'm in.
Yep.
Sounds super good.
But yeah, those are the sorts of delicious foods that you can find at Comerica Park for your 2019 Tigers season. And, this is not a feature exclusive to the Tigers. Pretty much every stadium has, kind of oddball menu items every year. It's just sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
we used to have a segment, obviously, of Morning Show where we would kind of guess, whether a stadium food was either created by a ballpark stadium food bot, or if it was a real life stadium food from a place. It's always fun guessing because you never know. It's quite literally out of left field with a lot of these. And this was sort of a nice down memory lane sort of thing for me. So I thank you for taking me on this journey.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I know the Reds do, and I think probably other teams must do this too, but they have as their serving dish for a lot of their menu items, they have a little plastic version of their helmets. So you can get like an ice cream sundae served in an upside down helmet, and then you take the helmet home, I guess, after you've eaten out of it. You can also get nachos in a helmet. It's
and we should say when you say the word helmet, you don't think of the ones that the batters are wearing on the field. Think of if you needed to get one for an infant.
Right, that's approximately the size.
That's about,
yeah.
It is, yeah.
It's rather small, but it is shaped and is reminiscent of the helmets that the batters wear. So
it is a facsimile of one, yes, indeed.
Yeah. Cheetos popcorn, also a thing you can get at Great American Ballpark.
And your local AMC, apparently, which I did not know. Hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos
are available
Takis.
And Takis, yes, in the same popcorn, please. I'll take it. You've got another article in here from Deadspin that says, how much longer will baseball stadiums be for baseball fans? And it's a rather lengthy article here. I don't know if you had a particular reason for including this, whether it was beyond sort of the baseball snacks / ballpark food conversation, or if it was sort of an extension.
This is kind of this is a little bit related to my complaining about them talking about like revenues or whatever. It's about how MLB's attendance was down last year, and sort of, they keep talking about how they want to do it, how they want to improve it and whatever. But then sort of going through all of the ways that they've made it less and less enticing to go to a baseball game. Like now they just don't allow backpacks at all at certain stadiums. And then they talk about, the average cost of a ticket rose.
Right.
The cost of an MLB ticket has risen 48% since 2006.
Well, and I think this is an important thing to bring up too when we're talking about trying to find a way to become a baseball fan, right? Especially for you, who's looking to. I mean, you're diving into the deep end, honestly, at this point, and to try and immerse yourself in this, I think it's tempting to be like, yeah, I'll go to a couple games a year. But when you see that in 2019, the average cost of a ticket is $33 for any ticket, that's nosebleeds in any stadium, no matter how well that particular team is doing. It's kind of a hard pill to swallow, I think, at that point, because you're plus parking, plus everything else that they're mentioning here in this article, the food, even just the food that we talked about, right? It's not going to be a $5 beer. It's going to be an $11 beer. It's going to be a $14 beer, depending on what you get. I paid $17 for my beer when I was at spring training. It's no joke. It really, really is no joke. And I may not even go to a game this year because of the cost of this. It is beyond what I'm willing to pay for a single entertainment product at any one time. Unless you go all in, right? You need to consider this maybe like a staycation sort of thing, or like this is just what I pay once per year. I go all out. It's kind of like a nice, dinner out or whatever. But baseball, I guess, in a couple hours. And you're likely not going alone, right? You're going to be paying at least $66 to go with somebody else. If you bring,
right,
you and the kids and everybody else, it's going to be even a lot more. So I don't know. Does this entice you to think of other alternatives to enjoying baseball?
Yeah, it's kind of discouraging. This article, it basically just sort of talks through, the atmosphere of baseball stadiums today, and the ways that they kind of nickel and dime you and all that stuff, and these overpriced stunt foods and the club lounge type things that they have and all this stuff. And it's I just thought it was an interesting sort of critique of the baseball experience and these things that they call improvements and that they say that they're making to try to entice more people to come to games. And like, it doesn't really entice me at all. Like what would entice me to come to a baseball game would be cheap tickets and like cheap food. That's kind of what I expect. I'm not really expecting or willing to put up with like some sort of pseudo gourmet experience.
Yeah. Well, and I definitely agree. I think speaking directly to margin at these stadiums, the product on the field is probably the worst part of that, at least thinking financially, right? You're paying these players a boatload of money to be there. The thing where you're probably going to make the margin is the food. And I see...
Yeah, because you can charge like, tens of dollars for some beer. For like a Miller Lite.
And it's 100% the beer that is probably making... probably has the best margins, right? And the shift, and I think this is probably where I have to like put my work, my like day job hat on rather than my baseball fan hat on, is I love that the stadiums are moving more to a local beer focus where they're bringing in whether it's big beer or craft beer or independent or whatever, they're bringing in local beer that is either brewed specifically for that stadium. That happens quite a bit here in baseball and, football and everything else. But they're also trying to, have beers that are not at all what you would expect at a baseball stadium. There was a great podcast on Good Beer Hunting specifically about this, and what's now Oracle Park, and the beer buyer for the folks that work at Oracle Park in San Francisco are selling 16-ounce craft beer cans from a brewery in Auburn, California, which is about 2 hours north of San Francisco, for a brand that barely distributes their beers anywhere else. You have to like really kind of dig and go to Untapped to find where that beer is distributed so that you can get your hands on it. And even when you do, a 4-pack of that beer is going to run you between $20 and $26 likely.
Wow.
And so the margin there that they're making is actually not as great as your Millers or your, you know, the actual like a gigantic American light lagers. And yet they are still being sought out by these companies and these stadiums to bring kind of a local flavor. I think Petco is probably one of the best examples of this. They have restaurants inside of Petco Park that have Stone. They have AleSmith. They have a lot of different local places that offer both beer and food. Mm-hmm. But they're for this sort of like discerning San Diego beer crowd to try and pull them into more baseball games. And I get it. Like, for me, it's not the food. The food, like, I'm going to pay for food if I'm going out anyway. And the additional cost of buying food at the stadium, I feel like, is kind of negligible these days. It's going to definitely be more, but I'm not going to go there and have a 6-course meal at a ballpark. I'm going to go get some fried food. I'm gonna go get my chimichanga full of sauces and chilies and things like that. It's fun. Mm-hmm. It's just not. It's not going to be a hyper premium experience. But I do expect the premium pricing because it's at a stadium. I'm paying for the huge amount of folks to both work there, to make sure that the ballpark is safe, to play the players on the field. It's a lot of additional, I think, cost associated with it.
There's a lot of overhead.
Totally. And I don't know if that's always put into context when you're talking about, like, why is my hot dog more than $5? Well, a lot of reasons. Like, yes, we are going to sell 8,000 of them this game, but, or whatever, huge number. It still needs to be in the context of, we got to pay people. We have to pay concessions. We need to pay the team. We need to pay the management. We need to pay back the investors that invested in the team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, down the line. I guess it's, I'm sort of torn, right? Like, I feel like I'm already giving Major League Baseball my money by watching MLB.TV. Mm-hmm. I am also giving them my money by buying memorabilia when I'm at a stadium. Food is an additional part of that, but it's the ethereal sort of part, right? Like, you eat a food and it's gone, and eventually it'll, enter back into the trough. But it's sort of like that is a part of the baseball going experience that every single time I go, like, I may not buy a hat every time, but I'm going to try the Al Pastor dog or whatever. It's gonna definitely be something I try.
Right. Yeah, I just worry that they might get into some sort of self-perpetuating cycle where attendance is down, so they have to raise prices so that they keep making the same amount of revenue. But then that causes attendance to go down further, so people don't want to pay those prices. They decide to quit going, and so they raise prices. Right, and then, it's like, where does this end?
I think you're already starting to see that, though, in certain stadiums, and I don't know what it'll be like this year, but classically, over the last 5 seasons or whatever, the Marlins have had some of the worst attendance in baseball. You'll see 1,200 people there, like, and they'll just be dispersed amongst different seats. It's not like they're all congregated in, behind home plate or anything because the tickets were cheap. The tickets are the same price, likely. It's just that, I don't know, maybe it's mostly season ticket holders, or who knows. Even though it's not a political stance, I don't think, from them. They're not saying like, well, we don't like what the ownership is doing to the team. Brr, brr, brr. They're just saying that baseball doesn't interest them in that area because it's not a part of their culture. The Giants were one of the teams that were supposed to go to Miami way back when the league was expanding, and it's like, it's hard to bring folks into enjoying a team when there is a lot of high cost associated with trying to get butts in the seats. And it's difficult to sell. There are 162 of these things for the team themselves. Let's split that in half, right? So you've got, like 80 games or so where the point of the home stadium is to get butts in the seats. 80 games is a lot. And to try and coordinate that for an entire area seems just incredibly daunting. And then obviously they've been doing it for 150 years now. I get that, but you can't just keep raising prices to try and balance out the books. It's not going to work.
Right. But baseball's reinvented itself before, so it probably will again.
Yeah, I think what they need to do is take a look at hockey. I feel like hockey has sort of reinvigorated itself over the last 10 years or so.
Bring Vince McMahon in. Let's have the XLB.
XLB is an abbreviation of Xiaolong Bao, which is also known as a soup dumpling, Chinese soup dumpling. Would love to have Chinese soup dumplings at a major league stadium.
There we go. We brought it full circle, folks.
They would need to be really good ones. The outside, the actual wrapper would need to be good so that when you grab it, it's not scaldingly hot, because I don't want to have to use a spoon. Dumplings would be good, if you could use your hands or chopsticks or something. Chopsticks. Now, I did go to a stadium in Japan. Chopsticks were ideal, even though the stuff that I got in the little bento box, I should show you a photograph of this. We'll put it in the show notes, but it was incredible. Some finger foods, some I used chopsticks with. It was just, and they had little baseball dumplings. It was very cute. Very, very cute. Just take a page out of that. Major League Baseball stadiums, like pre-made meals, pre-made bentos. You walk up to the place, you pay $11, you get your bento, you sit down, you enjoy a game. Major League Bento.
Very good.
I think that means that it's time for Minor League Team of the Week.
It is. Our Minor League Team of the Week this week is brought to you by my mother, who told me about this team.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Hope you're still listening.
I think she probably is. I don't know. Jury's still out. The Team of the Week this week, brand new team for 2019, the Amarillo Sod Poodles.
You're going to have to tell me what a sod poodle is.
The Amarillo Sod Poodles. The team's name was decided in a Name the Team contest. Do you want to hear the 5 finalists?
Yes, I do.
We have the Boot Scooters, the Bronc Busters, Jerky, Long Haulers, and Sod Poodles. And it says here on Wikipedia, the names received negative feedback from locals over their absurd nature, but the team indicated their intention to adopt an unusual, family-friendly name. The chosen name, Sod Poodles, is in reference to the prevalence of prairie dogs in West Texas.
Yeah, I can see why they didn't go with prairie dogging, because that's a whole lot of... I would not want to get into that, for sure.
The Amarillo Prairie Dogs. No, so this is interesting. Their logo, I think, is pretty good. It shows some very aggressive-looking prairie dogs with some very impressive-looking 10-gallon hats on, poking their heads out of a hole. I really like the Art Deco font that they used for the text. It's very good.
Yeah, it is really good. I like this. I mean, it's got definitely like a Texas vibe to it, right? Like you have instant recognition of where this place is. I did not know that they were the minor league affiliate for your San Diego Padres, which is cool.
They are, yeah.
Just starting this year, which is also neat. But man, I really like this. This is probably like one of the not the first that we've talked about, but one of the first where I did not think that the name would turn into something that I actually kind of like. I like the way that they branded themselves. It's branded, get it? Because it's Texas,
right?
Anyway. Yeah, it's very cool. I like it.
Yeah, and that their stadium opens April 9th. So it's all very brand new.
Yeah.
So
if you are hearing this next week sometime, I guess, whenever this goes out, go check them out. This is one of those where, like, let's see, $45.5 million stadium in downtown Amarillo?
Yeah.
Amarillo?
Amarillo.
Okay, I'll go Amarillo. There are Amarillo hops.
Amarillo.
So I feel like there's...
Amarillo.
It means yellow. So
right.
At least they have yellow in their color scheme here, sort of. It's good. Jerky would have been good too, but
Wikipedia says Amarillo.
Okay. Thank you.
I would like to also, if you could go to the Wikipedia page for Amarillo, Texas.
Can do.
Note the logo for the city.
Oh, it's boots.
It's boots. It's very boots, and it's very Texas. There's some barbed wire, and there's some handwritten, "Step into the real Texas."
Wow.
This is, that's quite something. Boots. Texas.
I wonder, given this logo, it's almost as if they're trying to say, don't pronounce the two L's, so it's Amarillo.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's not what it says.
Yeah, okay. I get it. It seems like they're too far north in Texas for there to be sort of a Latin American pronunciation ascribed to this. So, okay. All right. Good on you, Texas.
The city was once the self-proclaimed helium capital of the world. So there you go.
All right.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yes, the Amarillo sod poodles.
I feel like the heliums would have gone off pretty well. Just sort of like a...
Yeah, so like a heritage name, yeah.
Yeah, it keeps it light.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the Amarillo jerky. That would have been something.
Jerky or jerkies? Would it...
Jerky, just jerky. The Amarillo jerky.
I guess jerky is sort of pluralized already. Unless it's multiple flavors of jerky.
Right, the Amarillo jerkies. The Amarillo assortment of jerkies.
The Amarillo Costco aisle full of jerkies.
Yeah, I'm just trying. The Amarillo boot scooters, yeah, that one's no good. The Amarillo Bronc Busters, that one's kind of good because it's alliterative, but I don't know what it means. I mean, I can kind of intuit, but the Amarillo Long Haulers, that just sounds like they're setting themselves up for their logo to just have an 18-wheeler in it, which is kind of boring.
Yeah, but can you imagine every time that they hit a home run?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, instead of having a riverboat in their outfield, they'll have an 18-wheeler.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, just giant smokestacks from it. Yeah. And the sod poodles, of course, and the Amarillo jerky. I kind of like jerky because it's very simple, but they didn't pick that.
You can, again, like, you don't want your stadiums filled with stunt food. Don't name your team after a stunt food.
Right.
If you're looking for more vehicles in the outfield, you can go over to twitch.tv/GSFM and watch the entirety of our opening day stream that Andrew and I did. That includes us trying to discern what type of truck is in the outfield. Yeah. So enjoy that, I guess.
Right.
You can also follow us on Twitter. It's @baseline_show. And like I've mentioned about 600 times in this episode, please, would you, if you want the radio address version of your opening day call with Andrew and I, or you want access to the Extra Innings feed for all the shows, all the great shows over at Goodstuff.fm, that's patreon.com/goodstuff. You can sign up for as little as $1 per month. That's $12 a year. That's less than a chimichanga at Comerica Park.
It's true. It's a steal. Get it? Because that's a baseball thing.
Okay. Yep. Got it.
If you have some topic suggestions or any other feedback about the show, you can email us at topics@baseline.show. And we also encourage you to head over to Goodstuff.fm and listen to some of the other great shows, or all of them, in fact, if you are so inclined. Lots of good folks doing good work.
I'll include a couple of other iterations of baseball stadium food or not, or our stadium food segment that we used to feature on Morning Show. We'll include that in the show notes. If you've never heard it, there are roughly 200 episodes for you to listen to, so go do that.
Mm-hmm. This has been Baseline, and that's the ball game.
Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of this game without the express written consent of Goodstuff.fm is prohibited.